Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. I hope I'm coming in clear. Welcome to Can We Talk Finances? We're talking tonight financial wholeness. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to join in. I'm Alicia Brown coming to you tonight. Wanted to have a good conversation with a great friend, Thomas Reed. And so please, as you're joining us, and I see some people coming in already, as you're joining us, please take a moment to share. We've talked about this, and many of you, hey, Angela Harville. Now, hey, Thomas, that's the first one. Your sister's the first one to hit here.
I'm
Hey,
honored.
we're coming in clear. Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much. Hello, Doreen, Sacramento. Hey, how you doing? Doreen and Angela, will you guys begin to share? Hello, Spring. God bless you. Thank you for joining in. As you guys come in, please begin to share and let people know we're on live and we're talking financial wholeness tonight. We're not talking financial freedom. We are talking financial wholeness. How many of you in life have gotten broken because of your finances and life has not been what you thought it was going to be because of your finances? Well, we're talking about wholeness tonight, a journey. I want to talk about my journey. Thomas is going to talk about his journey and how amazing he is. He's an amazing man. And so I just want you guys to start, please, sharing. Hey, James. Thomas, Angela saying hello to you. I'm
Oh,
gonna get
hello.
I'm gonna get these comments on here so James can see the comments because he's not able to see the comments right now. But I'm gonna get them on there so you can say hi to him. So you guys
Okay.
go ahead and greet. We're greeting you in the name of Jesus. So
Okay.
so we'll try to say hello to you. Hello, Doreen.
I see I'm in a private chat.
Oh, you're in a private chat? Oh,
It
wow.
says private chat. Now it says chat with anybody. Let me just say if I say hello everyone. See if who can everybody see that? Hello everyone?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
I
don't know
just
who all
don't
can see it, but I can see it. But
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
I see Angela's comment on your screen coming back to me, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not showing up on my chat box.
Oh, no, it's not going to. I think that's kind of
Okay.
private.
Private. Okay.
But
It does say private. Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Hello, PJ. How you doing? Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Hello, James. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate you. Hello, Patricia Ann from Moreno Valley, California. Thank you so much for chatting in and happy early birthday. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'm going to ask you one more time before we get started. Please take a moment to like and share. If you're watching from YouTube, please like and share. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Hi, Ariana. God bless you.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. I don't think you're going to see Thomas's his comments. It's in a private chat, but he'll comment so you can hear it live and clear. Hello, Darnell. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys joining. I'm trying to navigate and host at the same time. I'm used to having a PJ helping me, and I just talked to her at the last minute today, and she was always so helpful. So she is on the live, but I am doing my own administration. Pray for me. This is going to be amazing. But I'm really excited to be with you guys this evening. We talked about this on our last Can We Talk? We talked about that we would be talking about finances and generational wealth, generational um, issues, wealth and financial issues, because it's sometimes connected all the way. Thank you, PJ. She says, I'm doing great. Thank you. I know I'm a little slow because when PJ is doing it, she hits everything fast. I'm kind of slow. But
Yeah, I went to the comment side. Now I can see their comments, but I just can't comment back.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You don't
Okay.
have to. You don't have
All
to.
right.
We're going to be talking. We're going to talk and it's going to be
Okay.
great. Okay. So we're going to talk, but before we get ready to start talking about everything that we're going to talk about, I want to introduce Thomas Reed, AAMS, CRPC, and CRPS credentials, amazing credentials. And I'm going to read a little bit from his bio, and then I'm going to tell you my personal opinion, because I have a personal opinion about you, Thomas. Thomas Reed hails from Pasadena, California. One of the best rib places I ever had was in Pasadena, and I can't remember. I think it's called the Rack, or I don't remember, but it was amazing ribs there in Pasadena. Thomas serves as a minister and as a financial advisor for Edward Jones. He resides in Houston, Texas with his wife of 31 years. Now, that's an amazing feat within itself. That's amazing. He holds, like I told you, his AAMS, his CRPC, and his CRPS professional designations. He's a graduate of John Muir High School in Pasadena, an AA from Glendale Community College, a double BS in applied mathematics and geology from UC Davis, an MS in exploration and geophysics from Stanford University. I'm intimidated to talk to you already now. See, thank you, Thomas.
You can ask Angela. Just fluffy words. I'm just a teddy bear.
Let me tell you guys, for those of you guys who know Angela, who I call affectionately my rooftop friend, this is Angela's brother. Okay, so that you got some inside information. So we have a great friend with us today. And Angela, I think that he might have bumped you because I had a great conversation with Thomas. The first time we talked for over an hour. I was expecting, I know he's a busy man. I was expecting him, just to talk for a minute and kind of like share a few things that I had on my mind and see about his availability. And he took so much time with me. Oh my God. I was bragging about you, Thomas, after I was telling people, you got to meet this man. He's amazing. And after we have this conversation, you will continue to share this. I'm telling you, you're going to continue to share this live because you're going to be so moved and inspired by him. And a lot of the myths that we have and we have felt maybe growing up culturally or generationally, all those things, he's going to knock them out the window, out the door, out the ballpark, because he's going to share with us some great things, his own personal challenges in life and where he is today. So you're going to be blessed by it. I shared the last time we talked that I didn't grow up learning about finances. There was not something that was really taught in our household. My mom and dad always did well for themselves, but it just wasn't a conversation. So I wasn't equipped even to equip my children as I felt that I should. I did some things like I opened up their first bank account and things like that, but not the things that would help them, Thomas, to be successful. So I kind of like determined that there's a lot of generational things that happen with us just because we aren't trained or because we're not prepared to do life. Now, I want you guys to be in this conversation. I can see your comments and I'll put them on the screen. If in a time we want to engage, if you want to engage in the conversation or you want to talk or say something, I'm going to let you. But I want to start off by letting Thomas kind of like give us a personal journey of his life financially, how he started, and maybe, how he got to where he is today.
Sure. Thank you very much, Alicia, for the opportunity to be here tonight. I want to thank all of you who have joined us here tonight. You always wonder when people hear your name, is that going to be something that will cause them to have something else to do all of a sudden? Or is it going to intrigue them enough to sign on? So we're very happy to see so many of you that have taken time out of your very busy and important lives to be with us, and we hope to share something. With respect to my financial journey, I'm one of 5 kids. If you were here a moment ago, Angela Harville is my older sister. There are a total of five of us. So there are three sisters below me. I'm the only boy, number two in the birth order. My first memory about money was when I was very little. My dad would have us do some chores around the house, and he would give us nickels, like two nickels, maybe five nickels. And the instruction was you put one nickel in the basket at church, you save a nickel, then you have three more nickels to do what you want. And I learned very early on that for me, there are only certain things that I really want. I don't have to have it all. So once you kind of tune into that, for me, saving is too easy because I'm only looking to do one thing. And once I've done that one thing, I don't have to do anything else. So for me, that was a simple part. When it came to adult life, I had always wanted to be debt free. I didn't know how to do it. When I had my career going in oil and gas, and we'll talk more about that later, I stumbled upon a friend from Trinidad who had immigrated to the United States, and he was a geophysicist. And we were in his house one day, and so this is like the mid '90s, and he had a very nice house, swimming pool, family, the whole nine. And all the clear blue, he looks at me and he says in this thick Trinidadian accent, "Thomas, in 5 years, I'll have this house paid off." And I looked at him, I said, "What are you talking about? Nobody's debt free. Nobody pays off their house." And he slammed his fist on the table and he said, "Thomas, in 5 years, I will have this house." And he's making all these faces while he's talking, "paid off." And all of a sudden it hit me that if he could do it, why couldn't I? And just to make a long story short, it took me a couple more years than it took him. But in 2006, my wife and I became 100% debt free. We paid off all of our debt, including our houses. We had funded our children's college educations. And about that time, or maybe a few years later, my wife went back to school for her PhD in marriage and family therapy. And we were able to cash flow her PhD. And so, I'm speaking from a seat, from a place of passion. I'm speaking from an example that you can look at, hopefully someone you can identify with. And I'm telling you that if that's your goal, to be debt free, if it's your goal to be financially whole, and I think that's the way Alicia likes to describe it, then you can do it. Okay, you can do it.
I love that. I love that. How does that sound to you guys? Give me some feedback here. Does anybody want to be financially whole? Does anybody want to get out of debt? Does anybody want to be, I would even say, be financially educated? Because I think a lot of us are financially illiterate. We don't really know what all it takes and the details of being financially whole and what it looks like. For me, I will tell you, and I want you guys to give me some input as well. Tell me what you look like financially. Let's get you involved in here a little bit. What does it look like financially for you? Doreen is saying, yes, I want to be. Darnell saying, yes, I want to be. Amber saying, wow, yes.
Love it. Awesome.
And PJ is saying, absolutely, I want to be.
Awesome.
And I will say that COVID hit me, and it hit me in the stomach, it hit me in the chest. And when I lost my husband financially, I got hit in the stomach and in the chest all over again. And it seemed like the moment I was getting ready to do better, Thomas, it was like something else would come and hit me. But because I was never financially educated, I was just didn't know how to do things and didn't know how to prepare myself financially. So I was only, what do you call it, putting a Band-Aid on something that needed a much bigger treatment.
Right.
So
right.
I want to say that for myself, I was scared to look at my credit. I was scared to look and see what I was doing because I knew I wasn't doing good. And that's one of the first mistakes, being afraid to look at your credit, because how can you improve and be better if you're afraid to look at your credit? But
Hmm.
let me tell you now, since I began to embrace financial wholeness and embrace doing better with my finances, I tell you, within the last, I guess, 6 months, I have gone over 130 points on my credit score. My credit line has gone up. I mean, all these things that I was afraid of have happened for the better for me, because I've embraced it, and I wanted to be whole, and I didn't want to be afraid. Do you know what I mean about people who are afraid of financial issues
Yes.
sometimes?
Fully appreciate where you're coming from with the fear side of it. One of the things about money is that it's neither good or bad. In fact, the Bible talks about the love of money is the
Mhm,
root of all evil. Not that money is evil, it's the love of money.
mhm,
And because we don't get educated, we tend to develop more ideologies that
mhm,
are neither good for us. Most of the time, they're not good for us. I'll just be honest with you. And
mhm,
so, one of the things we probably should cover tonight, maybe we should talk about some of the myths about money. Um, Anybody remember as children? And I'll bet you if there's some young people on here, you probably haven't heard this, but it was a very famous quip my dad and mom used to say all the time. Boy, money don't grow on fill in the blank.
trees.
Okay, so uh, that's a fact. That's not a myth. But as children, we don't comprehend how much effort it takes to earn money. It's always easier to spend it. We can always spend it faster than we can earn it, and that's a fact. It doesn't matter if you're Bill Gates. It doesn't matter if you're Jeff Bezos. Bezos. It doesn't matter who you are. You can always spend it faster. Hence, one of the myths that we have to break down in our heads is that we have to prioritize. We have to sit down if we're married, sit down with our spouse. Prayerfully, your spouse will engage with you on this topic and determine together. What are your goals financially? Is it to one day retire and not have to work?
Mhm,
Is it to have your house paid off and be financially debt free? Is it to take trips? What are those goals? And I think the other myth, unfortunately, because we don't talk about it,
mhm,
we develop this myth in our minds
mhm.
that there are certain things that we can never have.
Yeah.
One of the things that has totally, I think, warped our heads, and I pray no one does this, is the idea of reality TV, a celebrity. They have no skill, they have no talent, but they're a celebrity. And
Mhm,
and what it's done is it promotes in front of us an image that looks like it's unattainable for us.
mhm,
What we need to do is really just blow them off. Who cares about them? The only thing that should matter is you and your household. How are you and your household going to attack the challenges in front of you? How will you prioritize those? And how will you go after them in such a way you'll know in 5 to 7 years you'll be at your goal, whatever that goal is. But I don't want to spend all the time talking. So go
I
ahead,
love
Elise.
that. No, you are the expert here. I love that. And I love what you're saying, because you just were talking about it, and you're absolutely talking about one of the things that I wanted to discuss, and you already tipped it,
Oh,
is that financial vision, getting out of
right.
debt. You have to have a financial vision.
Must
You
have a
and
vision.
people and the comments are saying that. Well, let me first talk about what Angela's saying. Angela says, just
Mhm.
wow. I just need to continue to follow the advice that Thomas gave me a year ago, and I will be debt free within 2 years.
Think of that in 2 years. You know how fast 2 years goes when you're over 60? I'm over 60, so I can say that. 2 years that
Yes,
I
yes, yes, absolutely. And because I'm Angela's friend, I'll be debt free in 2 years too.
Look at that. Look at that. And now listen, here's another myth. Um, Sometimes we are afraid to speak what it is that we want God to do for us.
That is good,
We
Thomas.
hold it in our hearts. We walk around with it in our minds, but we never state it publicly.
Mhm.
And I mean, I tease people sometimes. I say, well, you must be a prophet, you know. And what I mean by that is this: when someone is speaking truth into your spirit and into your life, that's something to be embraced. And
Mhm.
sometimes it is good to just tell people, I can't go out with you this weekend, this month, this year, because this is really what I want to do. And just tell them. And
That's right.
hopefully they won't be upset. What they'll definitely do is what I did when my friend told me he was going to pay off his house. I said, shoot, why does he have to be the only one that I know with a paid off house? Why? And
Yeah.
now he and I and others are sitting here today with paid off
Amen.
houses.
Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jessica is saying she definitely wants to work on her education and start considering her retirement.
Awesome.
You, you need to hook up with Thomas. I'm telling you, you need to. He can help you with that. He really can help you with that.
Hmm.
Darnell was talking about in the past 2 years, and the moment I saw it, it went away from me. Okay, her credit score was went from 400 to 670.
Wow.
That is
Congratulations.
amazing, Darnell.
That's
And
amazing.
she said she talks about how she had almost $10,000 in debt, and now it's 2,500.
Wow. That's 100,000. If I
Was that a
read
hundred
that right, it
thousand?
was 100,000,
It is
right?
100,000. You're right. My
Yeah.
yeah, my
So
computer
she,
says 10.
well, am I looking at it right? I think
It
it
is a
says
hundred
100,000.
thousand. It is a hundred thousand.
Yeah.
You're right.
Hey, look. I mean, my gosh. Oh my
Yes,
gosh. If you were standing in front of me, I would
congratulations.
have to
That is
hug you, even if it's
amazing.
COVID, even if it's monkeypox. I couldn't help but hug a person that does that.
Yes, and I'm telling you, when you have that fear and you're afraid of that, when you see like 100,000 and you get afraid of it,
Yeah.
look at it on the other side now, Darnell, where you are. That is so amazing.
Yes.
That is so amazing.
Congratulations. You know, you're probably within a month of having that whole 100,000 completely retired. If I can
Wow.
give you another goal, and I'll give us all this goal, it's this: if you reach financial wholeness, and this is just one aspect of financial wholeness, being debt free, make it your lifetime goal to stay that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
go back into debt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what I really want to really reiterate that financial goals, financial vision. You have goals about everything else. Embrace a financial goal. Jessica was saying how you'd be surprised how many celebrities that are still not financially stable.
Yeah.
The moment something happens, or they don't get a show, or they don't get renewed, everything's gone because they didn't
Well,
make wise decisions. So it's
mhm.
not about just having money, people. It's about, like I said, having financial goals, having financial vision, so that you can be financially whole no matter what financial state that you're in.
Mhm.
And well, I'm going to get to a couple more of these comments, and then I want to talk a little bit about what the Bible says about
Sure.
diversification and multiplying, because it's more than just I was listening to someone who is all about budget. Her whole career is all about budget, but she says, I will tell you, budgeting will not get you rich. Budgeting will not make you money. It will just
Mhm.
keep you solid. But if you want to make money, it's much more than that. It's about diversification. It's about all kinds of other things.
Can I
I
say
want to
something too, as we're
go right ahead.
we're going to segue into some scriptures and talk about that. And just as a preface to that, the reason I'm in financial services at Edward Jones, my why do I get up and do this every day? And really, what's my passion? Uh, my passion is to be able to make a emotional, or if you will, psychological, a physical, and a financial, physical, spiritual impact in people's lives. Now, why that? For me, it's important as part of the church is this. Many of our churches are struggling because we don't have the means to do more. So when I work with people, especially people who say they're of faith, I challenge them. If we work together and you do better, then you must share that blessing with the church financially and your time. You have to invest more back in the church because the more that God gives us, the more he expects us to give back to him. Okay. So I just want to say that right there, and then we can move forward.
That is really good. That is really good. Um, James is saying, I like the word earn instead of making money. You earn
Mhm.
something, respect it longer and appreciate it more. I will start earning instead of making money. That's a good thought, James. I like
That's a
that.
very good thought. Yeah, let me throw a little shout out to my cousins, Erica and Jerome. I see their comments popping up, so I want to say
All
hi to them.
right.
Hmm.
All right. Welcome. Welcome. Doreen is saying that she would like to retire next year. What are your thoughts
Wow.
on IRA accounts?
Okay. It's the IRA, individual retirement account, was started many decades ago when Reagan was president.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget this. He said that if a person would invest $2,000 a year in their IRA account for 40 years with compounding interest, they could retire a millionaire. And in 1980, to be a millionaire was just almost unbelievable, incredible. Who could do that?
Mm-hmm.
So the main thing as you're starting to prepare for retirement is just to make sure that everything is in order. You don't want to step into retirement and say, oops. So just make sure your things are in order. Make sure that if you step into retirement, you can stay retired if that's your goal. But again, always reference your long-term goal. And then I think it's going to be fine. But as far as retirement accounts, those are imperative. The earlier you start, the easier it is to be prepared for retirement. Just a fact.
Absolutely, absolutely. Come through Edward Jones. Darnell is saying she had a financial advisor through Edward Jones, and he's the one that helped her get her debt and things under control. I never thought that I would invest in stocks or gold, a gold bond portfolio. This has been a new experience for me, and I would not turn back at all. This has made me a stronger person, and I know that I can make it because there's ways out that they are showing you that you can make it. Oh, that is so wonderful. That is
That's beautiful.
amazing.
Yes. I'm happy to hear that you're doing that. I pray that you will continue to do that. I don't think you can go wrong.
I love that. I love that.
Hmm.
Yep. Want to highlight your family there. That's
Oh,
and
yeah. Erica and Jerome. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So so then I wanted to talk a little bit, and Darnell talked about that, about she never would have thought to invest, and now that she's investing. But I was talking to my sister today in the Lord, one of my other rooftop friends, Patricia Ann, she's
Hmm.
on the live, and we were talking about Ecclesiastes 11:2, that talks about divide your portions, your income. I'm
If
gonna
I
put
can
that on.
read it for
I want
you
to
real
put it
quick.
up there so you guys can see it.
Are you going to
And
put it up? Okay. Hmm.
well, I'm going to put where it's found. So if you want to look at it on your own time,
Hmm.
Ecclesiastes 2. And it talks about, so when there's a bad day, when it hits you, you'll be ready. And it says
Hmm.
it divided 7, yes, even 8 times. That's talking about streams of income. And if you look at anybody, they tell you about all these streams of income. And Darnell was talking about it, investing in stocks, and that's a stream of income. And talk to us a little bit about that, brother.
I think it is imperative when you start diversifying with income, uh, to really see if you can get a consistent passive income. And I can't go more into detail in this discussion because it's going to mean different things to different people. But the reason why that's important is that a passive stream of income will not tie up your time.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
second thing is when you think about multiple streams of income, you have to be careful, very, very careful that you don't spread yourself too thin. It's
Mhm.
it's very easy to have so many eggs in the basket, or or so many chips of wood in the fire, that it's hard to keep up with which one's doing what. So make sure that as you're building streams of income, that you create that passive flow of income that just doesn't demand a lot of your time and effort. There's only 24 hours in a day.
Mhm.
Most people will have to sleep a minimum of 4 hours to about 8 hours. So that only leaves you with 16, maybe 20 at most, to do all the things you need to do. In this economy in which we're working and living today, you are competing against specialists. You're competing against people who put all of their effort into one thing, maybe two, and you have to be as good as them in order to earn the income that they're earning. So as you're building multiple streams, you know, don't, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
Start out easy, start out smoothly, become very good at it, make sure it's self-sustaining, and then start to branch out. But it is wise that the scripture says it here, um, in Ecclesiastes 11:2, to consider, diversifying yourself. But I don't think he's trying to tell us in this text here to be so stretched thin that we can't take care of ourselves.
Mhm. Yeah.
I remember many years ago, I was into this herbal program, and one of the mottos was, "Your health is wealth." So you
Yes.
have to be able to take care of your health no matter what. And that's both emotional, spiritual, and physical. So,
Mhm.
but go
That
ahead, Alicia. That's my thought on
I think that that is absolutely excellent, because the point of it is, you can't do it. Even if you end up having though that many streams of income, you can't do it all at once. You got to
it. No,
start somewhere. You got to
start.
start with that earned income that James
Mm-hmm.
is talking about, and then build from there. And you and I had a conversation. We're talking about when you know that you're ready uh, to even invest, because sometimes you're not even ready to have that be a stream of income if you're not in the right place. And what did you tell me was best to know when you're ready to invest?
Right. So here's the thing. Let's talk about when is the best time to invest. Some people say you got to wait for the market to get here or get there. That's not important. The most important thing about investing, and this is just my opinion, and this is my financial life, is when you have excess income. In other words, you've got your debt in a position where it's not overwhelming you.
Mm-hmm.
If your debt is overwhelming you, focus on debt. If it's a year to get there, if it's 2 years to get there, if it's 3 years to get there, you got to get your debt into a position where it's not dominating your life and overwhelming your every thought. So now you're at a point where there's 100, 200, $400 consistently every month, and it's nowhere. You don't know what to do with it. You've
Mm-hmm.
tithed or you've given to the church. You have uh, taken care of your family and all your needs. You paid the rent or the mortgage. You paid the car notes. You've done all those things. There's still $100 left over. You're satisfied where your debt management is at the moment. Now you're ready to invest. In order to make a significant dent in your financial growth, you need to be able to invest somewhere between $50 and $500 a month consistently. Okay. If you're going to be starving yourself to say $50 a month, I would say just keep working on your debt. It's okay. The market's going to be here. The market's going to be here long after you and I are gone. Work on that debt. Get yourself in an emotional, psychological, spiritual place where your debt and bills are just not creating such a crushing burden in
Yeah.
your heart. Does that
Yeah.
make sense, y'all?
That makes good sense. That makes real good sense, because a lot of times I have met people that would go ahead and invest when they weren't ready, and then they're trying to get that money back, and they're trying to do everything they can do, and so that means you weren't really ready, you know.
Mm-hmm. And here's the problem, Alicia, and you all that are on the call. A person, they meet you, they get real excited, they're passionate, they want to do this, and they start putting their money in, and the market goes in cycles. Right now, we're in the down part of the cycle. Best time to put money in is when the market's down. But if your debt has got control of you and you not control of it, the first time an emergency happens, you got to go pull all your money out while the market's down. And now you're taking a loss. And that's what you must avoid. Okay. You must avoid that. You have to be in a position where you can live, you can ride it out when the market's down. And if you have extra to put in when the market's down, that's even better.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's, actually, once again, we're talking financial education, financial literacy. It's um, working, learning how to work with your money and not letting your money work over you or work you. Because that's what we do a lot of times. We let our money beat us up, and we're not working. We're not being wise with our money, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
also made the reference of Matthew
Mm-hmm.
25, beginning at verse 14, because that's when he gives a parable of going on a journey, and he gave one person 5 talents, the other person 2, and the other one. And we always remember the one that buried it in the ground. And when the master came back, he was angry because he didn't do anything with his money.
Can
So
I
I
say
mean,
something
that's
on
why.
that one?
What's
It's
that?
important to recognize that this particular text is not talking about your skills. We
Mhm.
think of the word talent many times, and what's your
Yeah.
skill? What's your proclivity? What are you innately good at or enjoy? And what he's talking about here is money. Those talents were money, and
Yes.
each one was given a certain portion, 5, 2, and 1. And it's
Hmm.
very interesting. Many people today that I've met will have all their money sitting in cash in a bank account, earning nothing.
Hmm.
They think it's safe. And
Less
that's
than a
why
penny. Less than a penny.
less than a penny. And the sad part about it is, we talked about this, Alicia. Let's just use a pair of shoes. There's a pair of shoes you want to buy on January 1st. Those shoes cost $100, but you decided you would wait to buy them until December. The shoe in December is not $100, it's $109. Why? That's called inflation. Inflation is running at
Hmm.
9% right now. So sitting on cash is the equivalent of this one talent guy burying his talent in the ground so he wouldn't, quote, lose it. And that's what many people feel. I don't want to lose it. Well, guess what? You're losing it already because it's sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I will scold you for that.
And that's great. I think that's absolutely great what you're saying. Because I liken it, the guy with the one talent, to that person when I was telling you that puts money under the mattress. Even
Same
you're not
thing.
even a penny.
Same thing, and I tease people because I have some very conservative investors, and we talk about cash. And so I always tell them, I say, look, I don't want you to take this money, put it in a cleaned out peach can, and bury it by the oak tree. Because in 3 years, that oak tree is going to die, and and when they cut it down, you're not going to be able to go find that can anymore. And number two, if you put it in your mattress and someone breaks into your house and steals it, it is gone. You don't get that back.
Mhm.
But there's a purpose of cash. What is cash for? We maintain a certain amount of cash, number one, for current needs.
Mhm.
Paying the bills. You got to have enough cash to pay your bills this month. That's fine. Uh, we keep some cash for emergencies. If our tire blows out on the freeway, I don't want to call Alicia to see if she can loan me, spot me, whatever. Then I got to call Angela, and then she's gonna spot me some, and then I'm gonna call Doreen, and she gonna. That is no. Take
Yes.
care of your business, okay?
Yeah. That's
Have
good.
some emergency cash. So that's the second thing that we do with emergency cash. The third thing that we're going to do with cash is invest. Okay. And this is that excess cash that's just sitting there. That money needs to go into the market. We need to invest it, and it needs to be invested in a way that matches our goals, our vision for what we want to do and where we want to be. If we do that with cash, I'm okay. But if we start burying it in the backyard and stuffing it in the walls, have you read stories about people who sold houses? The new person buys a house, they can't stand the house. So they knock down the wall. And as soon as they hit the wall, money starts flying out of the wall. This is true. And it's pathetic because that person died with money in the wall. Okay. This happens all the time.
Family doesn't even know that doesn't even know that they had money in the walls. They sold the house and money was there.
Not a blessed clue. $3, $4, $10, $20,000. Down here in Houston, there is a guy named Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
One of the biggest televangelists in the world today. His father was a televangelist.
Yeah.
And this year, they were doing some work, I believe, in the men's bathroom.
I saw
or something. They had to go into the wall, and they go into the wall, and they find like hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash. Where I don't know where it came from. I didn't read the whole story, but people think cash, and some people say cash is king. When my daddy was a boy growing up, cash was king. You know what people do today? They use their debit cards all day long. My kids couldn't tell you how to find cash. They don't carry cash. No one's walking around with a big wad of cash. If you mug me, you better have my thumbprint, because you're gonna have to use that card that I'm carrying, not this wad of cash. I'm sorry. I'm on a soapbox. I'm gonna get off now.
That's good though. That is really, really good. Amber's asking, what advice would you give? Well, let me say this before I read your question, Amber. We're on this already in the second half. We're about wrapping up pretty soon. So I'm going to focus now on getting some of these comments and some of these questions, because I know you guys want to tap into this genius here we have here. What advice would you give entrepreneurs when it comes to retirement?
Okay. Now, this is where we kind of get personal. What does retirement mean to you? And obviously in this call, I'm gonna answer the question for me. Retirement means I don't have to work. I choose to work. If I wanted to, I could stop working, and my lifestyle for as long as I live wouldn't change. Now I'm retired, even though I may still have a job. And so when I think about an entrepreneur, I'm thinking of a person who's doing something that they're passionate about, something that they love, something into which they can really pour their heart, their soul, their spirit, and it remunerates them financially. And so to that person, I would say, if this is your passion, this is something you love to do, don't let it kill you, you kill it. If you get to the point where you have got this thriving business, see if you can find some people, especially young people, with whom you can share your passion and skill, and maybe they'll catch it, and you can pass it along, pay it forward, as they say. But always step back and ask yourself, and it's important that you interrogate. In fact, this is what I do with my clients. I tell my clients all the time, this is what you're paying me to do. The investments, that's the easy part. The hard part is really understanding what's important to you. What is your goal? What is your vision of retirement? And once we start to solidify that, the rest gets easy. So to that question, entrepreneur, put your heart, mind, and soul into it. Work yourself out of a job, as they say. But if your spirit, your mind, your soul is still there, don't stop doing it. How many times have we read or know people that thought retirement meant stopping? And when they stopped, they died. 3-4 months later, heart attack, stroke, whatever, just killed over and died. So no, I say as long as there's breath in your body, as long as your strength and your mind is there and you enjoy it, keep doing it. Um, the word retirement, Alicia, and people on the call, it's nowhere in the Bible. No one in the Bible quote retired. Look at the kings, just as a quick example. King Saul, King David, King Solomon. You know how long they reigned in their kingship? Until they died.
They died. Till
Until
they
they
were no
died.
more.
Until they were no more. So I tell everybody, work, but be in a passionate work. Don't I pray for everyone on this call, Lord Jesus,
Yeah.
that if we're working, it's because we choose to work, not
Yeah.
because we have to work.
Oh, I love that. Yes, in Jesus' name, amen. And on
Amen.
a whole nother note, Amber, in answer to your question, also connect with Thomas and get some financial advice so you'll be ready to do all that you want to do
Fair
so you
enough.
don't have to work.
Can I say something just to piggyback on that?
Yeah.
I'm passionate about helping people,
Yeah.
and I love getting to know people and engage with people. Um, if you want to put this in the comments, Alicia, you can put my contact, my number at work, 936-448-1020. My email address is thomas.reed@edwardjones.com. Send me a note or call. We'll get you on the calendar. We'll set up a time when we can talk about your situation. And now I can give you some meaningful, words of encouragement or advice. In this type of format, we have to stay on broad generalities because we don't know
Yes.
each other's situation. She's going
We
to put
will.
that in the chat, right?
PJ is saying, say that again. I was going to put it in afterward, PJ, but she wants to put it in. So can you give your
Okay.
contact information
I'll
again?
say
They
it
want.
slow. My telephone number here my office is in the county north of Houston. It's in Montgomery, 936-448-1020. 936-448-1020. And when you call, my assistant, her name is Shelly, very nice lady. She'll help figure out when's a good time when the both of us can talk, and we'll put it on the calendar and I'll talk. I won't run, I won't hide. And matter of fact, tell her when you call that we were on this call and that's how you heard about me. My email, that's my name, Thomas, as it sounds, THOMAS .reed, REED, at edwardjones, one word, .com. Thomas.reed at edwardjones.com. And you can send an
Amen.
email, call, both, doesn't matter.
And Jerome is saying, this is what is so good about Thomas, caring about a person's financial situation and educating in this area. I would recommend to anyone to work with him.
Thank
All
you.
right. Got an
Thank you.
endorsement there.
Yeah. Next time I'm in LA, I'll take you. I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to say I was paying him off, but it slipped. I didn't pay him off. No, he's sincere. He's sincere. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My good friend James says, how can we stop being ignorant? Ignorant, not and not being stupid, but ignorant and not knowing.
Sure. Praise God, we're on this call tonight. We won't learn everything in one call or in one session, but let's just start to whittle away at areas of darkness with respect to money. As Jerome said, one of my goals is to help educate people. And if you want to get on my mailing list, I have an email that goes out. When things are happening in the market that are noteworthy, I always try to send things relative to that event so that my clients and friends have information. And you can get on that just by asking me to put you on that. Secondly, if you have questions after you read it, you can always call me, and I'm very happy to try to help explain it further. And so, James, those are two ways that you can do it. If you're very self-taught, you're the type of person that you can teach yourself, you have the patience to do that. There are lots of YouTube videos. Khan Academy, KJN Khan Academy has lots of videos about money that you can watch. There are numerous radio programs. I used to be a diehard listener to Dave Ramsey. Um, uh, there's just so many avenues today to start learning and taking away and just peeling off the layers of doubt, uncertainty, or even ignorance. And I like the word ignorance. We're not really stupid about money. Sometimes we'll do something stupid, but most of the time we're just ignorant. No one's taught us.
Yeah.
We haven't learned. And this is the beginning. This is a step. Today is a step. I like to tell my clients that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with what? The first step.
That's so good.
Mhm.
That's so good. I like that. And that's one reason why I wanted to bring you here, Thomas, because
Mhm.
I talking to so many people, especially people that look like us.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, we didn't have a lot of education when it came to finances. A lot of us, well, our parents grew up in a lot of financial hardships and difficulties, and
Mhm.
so many different other things that happened. So it was just like James said, it was a lot of ignorance in areas. And I really want us to start embracing our financial wholeness, our financial education, and be better. Just be better
Yeah.
and leave our children a legacy. I don't even
Yes.
think that in our culture, that's a lot of what we talk about, leaving our kids a legacy, you
That's
know?
right. I remember reading. I think it was something that someone sent me on a text message that just made so much sense. Um, in fact, the Bible teaches us that when we have success in life, we leave a legacy not just for our children, but for our children's children. In other words,
Yeah.
our grandchildren.
Yes.
And in many ways, if we can start thinking in terms of how do I create this legacy? How do I, break this family bondage to ignorance, this
Mhm.
family bondage to eternal debt,
Mhm.
and set up my children and their children to not have to go through this.
Mhm.
Um, and it's doable. I'm here to tell y'all it's doable. It's not impossible. It's not a pipe dream.
Mhm.
But it does take our effort. It takes strategic planning. It takes prayer. It takes diligence. But it can be done.
Yes, absolutely. I like
Hmm.
that. I love that scripture. And yeah, your children, your children's children, generations. That's what Angela's saying, generations.
Hmm.
Um, that's what we need to be looking at too now. That it's about
Yeah,
sharing for our generations.
yeah. A lot of people that don't look like us, but not
Yeah.
all. There are a lot of poor white people in the world
Hmm.
who don't get educated either.
Hmm.
But many times, as they're sitting around the table, um, you know, the discussions are being had about the value of education, the
Hmm.
value of study, the value of preparation, the value of delayed gratification. And those are not things that we hear often as we grow up.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
important even now to start sharing those with your family, your children, your nieces, your nephews.
Hmm.
And Angela and I talk about it, speaking life into kids.
Yeah.
Every kid needs to know that their parents love them, that their parents can see the potential in them, and that their parents are proud of them.
Yeah.
And your kids will never get tired of hearing that. So, just keep telling them. I remember when my kids were young, they would get frustrated or mad, and they would start having these tantrums. And I would look at them, I would say, "I'm so sorry," and they say, well, "Sorry," and they'd be mad and sniffling. Sorry, I say, "Yeah, I'm really sorry. You are a Reed, because Reeds don't act like that. If you had been born something else, You probably could do that, and that would be right, straight up right with that. But you're a Reed. I'm sorry, we just don't act like that. We just look at the situation, we accept it, we embrace it, and we move on. But we're not going to sit here and act crazy, because Reeds don't go crazy. Reeds get active. Reeds get moving. That's what we do. And I would
Man,
tell them ad nauseum. But you
that's
speak the
great.
words. Yeah, you speak that. Speak life.
That is great. Well, time is getting away from us, and we're getting ready to wrap it up. I
Oh
want to thank
man, that was
every.
fast.
I
Wow.
know. I'm going to give you a few minutes to share anything that's on your mind before we leave. But I want to share for everyone. I want to encourage you to get a financial vision, to get a dream, and to be like Erica's like, to get a dream. And I have it written out and put on paper as well as in my phone, some of my vision financially, whether it's for my business, whether it's about my finances and how I want to invest, different things I want to do, different things I want to create that I haven't created, and how I want to get there, the actual action steps on how to get there. I have a complete financial vision separate from my goals in life and my business goals. This is all financial. So I want to encourage you guys to embrace that. One of my goals was to clean up my credit, because after, like I said, after that hardship, it was hard for me and I had to start all over again. So just whatever it is, start your financial vision. So what do you want to say to us before we go, Thomas?
Oh, me. Oh.
Yes.
Well, first, let me just reiterate again how gracious and thankful I am, Alicia, for your very kind invitation to be with your group tonight. I want to thank the group again for being with us for this past hour. If nothing else, I hope we have encouraged you to think positively about money. There's a lot to learn. Even though I have a lot of letters behind my name. In fact, I'm working on my certified financial planning designation. It's considered like the summum bonum of designations. Uh, you're always learning, continuously learning. So don't feel like you're out of the loop. You're part of the team. When you say that I'm going to start learning, now you're part of the team. And last of all, don't give up hope. Uh, Set your dreams. I believe it was Albert Einstein who said, the problem for most people is that they set their bar too low and they hit their goal every time.
Wow.
He
Wow.
said, set your bar high. Even if you miss, you will still end up amongst the stars. And so
Yeah.
that's what I would tell you. Don't be afraid to set an audacious goal. Something that might seem to someone on the outside impossible. Don't be afraid. Just have a plan to attack that goal and see what great things God will do in your life.
Amen. I agree. I agree. I have to end it with your sister. She's congratulating you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it so much. So much. Appreciate it so much. And
Thank
again,
you.
we just hope.
You have been a wonderful audience, and I
Yes.
thank you so much for your input. And please don't stop here. Please continue to share and let people
Mm-hmm.
know what we're doing here. And thank you so much, and see you next time. Tom, if you stay right there, don't you go anywhere.
Sure.
But everybody else, I'll see you guys next time. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Bye,
God bless.
guys.
Bye bye.
See you.